So we are going to talk today about fear, guilt, or shame, and why my friends look at the world differently than me. As we walk through, we're going to talk about worldviews of each of these: fear, guilt, and shame. And then we're going to have some takeaways and some things that we can do to realize how our friends, how people from other cultures or other backgrounds just view the world differently than we do, and so the gospel looks different to them. Now, Encompass World Partners. Does anyone know who Encompass World Partners is? A couple of you? Okay. So Encompass World Partners sends missionaries around the world to spread the gospel and to tell others about Jesus. We do that to least reached countries, and I'll talk a little more about us in a bit. So, my family. This is my family. This is obviously me, the least attractive of us all. My wife, Caitlin, my son, Trip, John Richard Harrison III, Trip, my daughter, Reagan, and my daughter, Aurora. So these three were actually all born in Korea. They have really cheap medicine there, so free kids. And you can see my son, he's kind of sporting his Koreanism. He's doing these. Anyone know what these mean in Korean? These are tiny little hearts, right? So Koreans always frame their faces or their pictures with something. This is the one that's all the rage right now in Korea. It's tiny little hearts around your face. They used to go like this, but now they do this. Here's some of my students. This is one of our camps. We had a water gun fight in English, which was a lot of fun. Just a lot of no! And then I worked in a church plant. So this is actually me, the back of my head. I worked at a church plant there in South Korea as well. After Korea, I moved to Atlanta. So here is the busy metropolitan city of Atlanta, and here is Busan. Big stark difference. Busan is built on the ocean, so it's seas. We had a big beach. Atlanta is nowhere near the ocean. It's all trees and forests. All right. Who can guess which one is Atlanta and which one is Busan?
Bottom.
Bottom one is what?
Atlanta.
The bottom one is Atlanta. You think he's right?
No.
No! This one is Busan. This is the Lotte Giants. Koreans are crazy about baseball. They love baseball. The Lotte Giants are the Busan team. You can almost see it right here. And this is one of the largest mandirs or Hindu temples in North America. And it is found in Atlanta. So, Encompass. Let's talk a little bit about who they are. Encompass serves 228 people groups in 34 countries around the globe through 5 missional networks. And our vision is to spread the glory and knowledge of God among the least reached of our world. So least reached are people groups with less than 2% evangelical Christian. So who here is from Ohio? Okay, in Ohio you have about 25% evangelical Christians. So you may feel like there's not a lot of Christians, but you're at 25%. Who's here from Indiana? Indiana's all the way up at 31% evangelical. Pennsylvania, 21.5. Anybody from California? No? They're 15%. So even California is 15% evangelical. So we work with people groups that are below 2%. That means that you're not going to find Christians, you're not going to find churches, and the church will not be reproducing itself. So we go there because of what Jesus told us, to go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. In other parts, in Matthew, he says baptizing and teaching them. All right, now here's where we're going to practice our communication, right? Two-way communication. So I'm going to ask you some questions. We'll see if you guys can get it right. So how many kids do I have? 3. All right. And where have I lived outside the U.S.? Yeah, South Korea. You can also add the Philippines, but that's another story. How many countries is Encompass working in?
34.
34, okay. Where is the Great Commission found in the Bible? Ooh, that was fast. Matthew 28. I also showed you a verse from Mark. Anyone remember? Mark 16:15. All right. And what is Encompass vision? Reach out to people in need of Jesus. Okay, it's a loose a loose translation. Okay. So today we're going to talk about worldviews. All right, and worldviews are the lenses through which we see the world. And we're going to talk about 3 different worldviews. I showed them on the screen at the beginning, right? What were they? Anyone remember? Fear, guilt, shame. Okay, so we have 3 images here that represent one of each of those worldviews. Which one do you think is fear?
The one with surrender.
This one's fear? Not fear. What do you think is fear? Top right? WWJD bracelets are fear?
Oh. No.
No? Okay, so this one's fear. This one is honor, shame, and this one is guilt, innocence. So they represent 3 major worldviews and the religions that are found primarily in those places. Okay? So, where would we think she's from? India. Okay, where would we think she's from? The Middle East somewhere. And where do you think this person is from? The West, somewhere. America, something like that. All right. Worldviews work to answer the ultimate question in life. Now, my wife was a little bit leery that this reference would hit you guys, but does anybody get this reference? Yeah. All right. We have some people. The answer to the ultimate question is 42. In Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is a book and a movie, it's very funny, if you've never seen it, go watch it. They make a computer called Deep Thought, and it thinks for 7.5 million years to come up with the answer to the ultimate question of the universe and life and everything. And the answer it comes to is 42. And the people are standing there going, but what's the question? Well, that is the real question. What is the question that this answer answers? So, we have the answer, right, as Christians, to the ultimate question of the world and the universe and everything, and that is Jesus. Yeah, you guys went to Sunday school. Good. Jesus, right? That is the answer. That is the ultimate answer. But what is the question that people are asking? And that is the worldview. That's what we're going to be talking about. Is how do we answer the question that people are asking with Jesus? Because not everybody is asking the same question. All right. Guilt, innocence. So in our culture, this is what most Americans or most Western people kind of follow. We have a guilt, innocence worldview. We are focused on justice. We are focused on laws. What happens when you break the law and you speed? You go too fast. You get arrested, you get a ticket, or you can get a warning. You're a girl, so you just cry. Okay, it's just a warning. Yeah, you get arrested, you get thrown in jail, you get in trouble. You break the law, you go to jail. You sin, you go to jail. So, our ultimate question, what are we trying to find? We're trying to find a way to deal with guilt. We're trying to find a way to deal with our guilt. How do I get rid of the guilt I feel for the wrong that I have done? Right? I have done wrong. I've wronged God. How do I get rid of the guilt in my life? We need, what does this represent? We need a judge. We need a judge to declare us innocent. And Jesus does that for us? Does he declare us innocent? Eventually, yes. Some people are nodding their head a little bit. Okay, so if Jesus declares us innocent, give me an example. You guys are Bible scholars, right? You can give me an example from the Bible where Jesus declares someone innocent. Washes your sins and makes them white as snow. Yeah. He takes away your sin. How about the prostitute that is brought to Jesus? She's caught, right? Red-handed. Brought to Jesus, and he says, whoever has not sinned, throw the first stone. Everybody walks away, leaves her standing there, and Jesus says, you are forgiven, go and sin no more. Her guilt is taken away. She is declared innocent by Jesus, the only judge who can do that. We also see in John 8, that Jesus says, everyone who sins is a slave to sin. And if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. Okay. So that is the guilt-innocence worldview. Most of us are familiar with that. Now we're going to go to honor and shame. Honor and shame, the worldview is talking more about how you interact with the people around you. So why do people wear the hijab, chador, niqab, or burqa? It's part of their religion, yeah? But their religion is trying to answer the question of honor and shame. How do I preserve my honor and prevent shame on my family? Okay, let me give you an example. Why are you not wearing your hijab? Because you're a Christian? Well, you can wear a hijab even if you're a Christian. You tell your dad that I am done doing business with him. I will not take my business back to his store. If his daughter will dress so inappropriately, with no honor, not protecting your family's honor, and openly in shame, I cannot be seen doing business with him. Okay? So some people, they wear their hijab or whatever, not because they like it, not because it's a fashion statement, because it brings honor back to their family. They're trying to deal with this problem of honor versus shame. Anybody know this cartoon? Right? Dishonor on you, dishonor on your town, dishonor on your whole family. So in my experience, in my context, in Korea, a lot of everything was run by honor and shame. If you did something wrong, not only would you get in trouble, but your whole family would get in trouble. If I embezzle money, if I steal money from my company, everyone in my family will lose their jobs. Did they do anything wrong? No, because there is someone in their family who is dishonorable and steals, so therefore everyone in their family must be dishonorable and they must be thieves. So everybody will lose their job. The only way to make it right is to hide it, to hide your shame, keep it secret, and pay the money. Deal with it separately. If you get into a legal battle or a fight with someone, the police will come and just make sure that you take care of it between the two of you. Because they don't want to take you to the courts. They don't want to put it into the laws and cause all this problem. They deal with it to hide their shame. They are trying to restore honor. Okay, so does Christ do this for us? Does Christ restore honor and take away shame? Some of you are nodding your heads. All right, how? Where? Give me an example from the Bible where Jesus does this. He takes away honor, or he takes away shame and returns honor. Jesus, and she washes his feet, and everybody else is like, I can't believe you would let this woman do that. And Christ is saying, no, she loves me.
Two incidences when he like moved the gun and also like this person who get into like the bath or whatever, like when he walks into the bath, he gave him like feet to walk, so like it was kind of shameful like to be like sick and stuff and like
Yeah.
be not able to walk or see, but he didn't on the like be able to do this thing.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, Christ heals those who are broken. He restores sight to the blind. He heals those who can't walk. What is the first question that the disciples ask after he heals someone? Jesus, who sinned? This man or his family that he is like this, that he is blind? Christ says, neither sinned. He is like this because I am here to restore honor and to bring him back. In Galatians 3:26 and 29, it says that in Christ you are all sons of God. You are not Jew and Greek, slave and free, male and female. You are all restored to honor. You all have lost the shame and are sons of God. We also see in the story of the prodigal son, right? The son takes the money, goes away, spends it all, and when he comes back, the father, or God, rushes to him, hugs him, loves him, gives him back a cloak and a robe and a ring, and restores him to his seat of honor, right? Even though he was dishonorable. So, God does this for us as well. He restores our honor. Do you have any questions about honor, shame? Okay. So, the last one is fear, power. This is called a bindi. The red dot or the lines used in Hinduism is called a bindi. Why do people wear the bindi? Does anybody know? Some people wear it for fashion, because everybody does, in the countries where they wear it, India or Malaysia, not Malaysia, Myanmar, sorry. It is used to block evil spirits from entering the body, right? So this is kind of the third eye area of your head. This is where the evil spirits would come in, and it's where they go out. So this is your access point, if you will. You put the red dot on there, red symbolizing blood, to block the evil spirits from entering your body. You can block the evil spirits, you won't get sick, you won't have bad luck, you won't have bad business. So, evil spirits cause all of the suffering in your life. So you are living constantly in fear of what other people are going to do to you. They're going to curse you. They're going to send an evil spirit to cause problems for you. So you are trying to find a way to gain power. Power over the evil spirits and the fear. All right. This guy, this is a Hindu shaman. Anyone know what this is? A skull. Wow, what a neat decoration, right? No, this is an actual human skull. This is where he eats from, this is where he drinks from, and this is where he performs his magic, his incantations to control, to have power over the evil spirits. And you can't really see because it's a black and white kind of photo, but he is sitting in dust. This isn't just dust, this is the human remains. So they bring everyone here, cremate them, the dust is just thrown out here, and the shamans live in the remains of humans. They live in the dust. All this to control, to have the power over the evil spirits. You guys live in fear of evil spirits like this? No? Okay. Are you afraid that your car is going to careen off the road and blow up on your way home? No? Why not? Oh, your mother must have gone to the shaman. Actually, his mom is sitting right here. Your mother must have gone to the shaman and sacrificed a chicken or a goat or done some kind of incantation to protect your car, right? Probably not. But in some cultures and in some places, those are the things that you do. That's what you do to protect your car. You go, you sacrifice, you try to control the evil spirits. In Korea, I watched as a traditional Buddhist family, which also lives in fear power, right? They're afraid of the evil spirits. They bought a used car. And to make the spirits of the used car happy, they parked it in the middle of the road, left the car running, opened all the doors, the trunk, the hood, headlights on, all the dome lights, interior lights, and they put a picnic in front of the car. They sat there as a family, grandmother, grandfather, kids, mom, dad, and they ate their dinner. They put out dinner for the car. They poured alcohol on all 4 tires so that the car was, drinking with them. And then the grandmother took incense and crawled through the entire car, waving the incense and saying something. I don't know, I was watching from 11 stories up. But they performed this whole ceremony to clean the car out of the evil spirits, the spirits of whoever had owned the car before, so that now the car would obey them, would be good for them, wouldn't get into a traffic accident, wouldn't have problems, mechanical problems. And they did all that for fear and power. In some cultures, they even use religious texts. This is a picture of a piece of the Quran. So they've written the Quran, a chunk of the Quran out, put it in a jar, and then they'll fill the jar with water or some kind of liquid, grind it all up, and you have to drink the Quran. Because as you drink the Quran, the holy words will cleanse you, will purify you, and the evil spirits will leave you, and you won't be sick anymore. And just in case you're curious, yes, they do the same thing with the Bible in some places. In Acts 19, there's an evil spirit that refuses to leave a man because people come and try to cast him out in the name of Jesus. And the evil spirits tell the men, I know Jesus, and I've heard of Paul, but I have no idea who you are, and Jesus is not in you. And he beats up the men and sends them away. So, they are looking for a way to control the spirits. Sometimes they even put up totems, right? You've seen totems? Totems are used to block evil spirits from coming in or encourage good spirits to come. So what is the ultimate question? They're trying to control the evil spirits. They're trying to have power over another realm. All right. Does Jesus do this for us? Less heads shaking, yes.
You say the Bible?
What?
You say like the Bible? Maybe? Like, because you listed different like objects that other religions do to like block out like spirits and stuff. So I guess like sometimes when you read the Bible, like Jesus talking to you, so like maybe you like feel like Jesus like speaks to you through the Bible, I guess.
Yeah, okay. So Jesus speaks to you through the Bible and can calm your fear. Yeah. Does Jesus give you power over the evil spirits? Yeah. Now I think most of you aren't afraid that an evil spirit is going to attack your car and push it off the road as you're driving home. Maybe because you don't believe that the evil spirit really would do that. But do you think they would? Yeah? I think as Americans we kind of try not to talk about this too much, right? We try to think like, no, there really aren't evil spirits that affect me. But Christ does give us the power. God is in charge of everything. He is the biggest, right? There's nobody bigger than him. There's nobody who can beat God. If you have God in your life, you have to be afraid that an evil spirit will attack you? No. You have the power. You have Christ inside you. So when we're going to a culture that is so consumed with fear that we can take the gospel to them, and we're not trying to tell them, hey, you need to accept Jesus because he'll take away your sin and he'll forgive you. They're not concerned about forgiveness. They're concerned about the evil spirits that are attacking them. Is forgiveness a part of what Jesus is offering? Yes, but this is their biggest question. This is what we have to help them through first before they're ready to see the fullness of the gospel. All right. So Christ and the disciples cast demons out of people in the Bible. God gives them the power to do that. Christ has the power to cast them out. And in Galatians 5:1 it says, "For freedom Christ has set us free. So do not submit again to a yoke of slavery." Don't go back into slavery to the evil spirits that you were before. So, we must know the questions that other worldviews are going to ask us before we start giving them the answers. If I just come up to you on the math test and I tell you, the answer is 42, does that help you? No, because you don't know which question the answer is 42 to. And don't answer 42 on all the questions because you'll get probably an F. One question will be right. So we have to know which questions we're answering before we start giving them the answers. So these are many of the most popular religions around the world, and they all work to answer these worldview questions, these ultimate questions. They use rules, they use rituals, they even use good things like memorizing scripture, praying, leading a Bible study. They do things trying to restore honor to themselves, trying to take away fear, trying to take away their guilt. But the answers don't work forever. And why? Why don't the answers work? Nobody? Oh, okay. So other religions try to answer the worldview questions that we have of our guilt, our fear, and our shame. Why don't they work? Why doesn't...
Can you give an example of it not working?
Oh, sure. Why doesn't Islam take away our guilt? We go to the imam and we say, I feel guilty about my sin, and how do I purge my sin? How do I get rid of it? And he tells us, you must act better and come to the mosque and pray every day. Why does it not take away our guilt? Because the only answer is Jesus. The only thing that can take away our guilt is Jesus. The only thing that can restore our honor is Jesus. And the only thing that can give us power over the fear, over the evil spirits, is Jesus. Attending church, scripture, leading a youth group, this stuff's not going to work. Yes?
What about the mental aspect of it? Like, if they go to and they tell them things, and then it's like how you want to think that things like really and all like that, like to make them feel a certain way,
Yeah. Well, they do. They go to the Hindu shaman and they say, what do I do? And they say this mantra, and they start repeating it, and it works for a time. But eventually, it stops working. It stops taking away the questions. It stops doing that. And my question is why? Why does it stop working? Because it's not the ultimate answer. It's not the correct answer. Yeah, good question. So, it is only Christ who can set us free. It is only Christ who can remove our fear and give us power. And it is only Christ who can restore our honor when we feel shameful. So, as we work with our friends, as we work with people from other cultures, we have to know the questions that they're asking before we start giving them our answer, right? Well, Jesus forgives your sin, but does he take away my shame? Does he take away my fear? Yes, he does. And we have to know how to help people with those before we just share with them from our background, from our culture, and from our experience. So, most of this was taken from this book, The 3D Gospel, which is written by one of the missionaries with Encompass World Partners. And so if you are interested in hearing more about the full gospel, we call it the 3D Gospel. I even have a copy with me. You can find us at our booth and ask us how you can get a copy of this book. It's a very short, easy read. But does anybody have any questions about fear, shame, guilt, or kind of the worldviews?
Can I just clarify something that
Sure.
you were saying about how sometimes you find out it doesn't work? Because I've had a lot of friends who have grown up in this guilt and innocence culture, and they've tried Jesus, and then they still feel guilty. And so I just want anyone who, like, maybe one day will be like, I tried this, but I still feel guilty, to know, like, it doesn't matter how you feel, it's what's true in Christ. So I just,
No, that's great.
yeah. So just because you still feel guilty doesn't mean that you are. Christ says, you're not. Thank you.
No, it's great. Who the Son sets free, they are free. No matter what they think. Anyone else? Have any questions? Thoughts? Comments?
How have you used this information in that context for you in South Korea?
So, in South Korea, when I work with someone, I first ask them what kind of family religion they practice. My best friend, his mom was traditional Buddhist. So she would sit and stare at the wall until the wall started moving and would tell her something. And then she would go and tell the family, this is what we need to do. And they lived in fear of whatever spirit would tell them, or that the spirit would kind of rob them of their business or something. So they were farmers. They were often concerned about their crops failing and things like that. So when I was working with him and working with his family, I had to do a lot of things that I would say, Jesus wants to forgive you of your sins, but he also can take away all the fear that you have. Because he grows the crops. He grows the plants. He waters them. He makes sure they don't, that your family will be fed. So, yeah. He came to me a couple of times, like someone had died, and he went to a funeral and he said, please throw this salt at my back so the evil spirit won't follow me home. And I told him, I'll throw salt at you, but I don't think it's going to do you any good. So I'm going to pray for you first, which is actually going to help you. And then if you want me to throw salt at you, I'll throw salt at you. But, yeah.
It's like the looking at the wall thing,
Mm-hmm.
like waiting it for it to like move. Does how does that work for her? Like, does she just sit there for a really long time?
Yeah. Sometimes it takes hours, but
Does it actually move, or is it like just
I don't know because I never sat there and watched her meditate.
Yeah.
But she said the wall would move and tell her to do things. Another interesting thing about Koreans, usually when a Korean gets pregnant, the mother-in-law will have a dream about a snake. And if the snake comes close to you, then it's a boy, or if it bites you, then it's a boy, and if it stays away, it's a girl. So my friend was dating someone, they weren't married. Very uncommon for Koreans to have premarital sex, but they did. His mom called him up and said, I don't know how to tell you this, but I had the snake dream. And the snake came up the bed and it bit me. So I think your girlfriend or somebody you know got pregnant is going to have a boy. So he told his girlfriend to go get checked, and she was pregnant. So those things are really common in Korea. It was, yeah, cute kid too. About the same age as my son. Anyone else have any questions?
Can you talk a little bit about how when you share the gospel, you said about more in honor faith or in honor of how the gospel message is the same, but the terminology changes. Can you talk a little bit more about that for interaction with different friends that they have?
Sure. So when you share the gospel with someone else, when you tell them about Jesus, if you're working with someone from an honor-shame context, right? You're sharing with them that Jesus is the answer to the questions that they're asking. Just like you would share it with someone from your own culture, but you're sharing with them that Jesus can fix the problems that they have with their life, right? Jesus can fix the problems that we all have with our lives, the ultimate questions that we're asking. So when you're saying, my life is tied up in my honor and my identity, Christ can set you free from that. He can restore your honor and your identity through his death, his burial, and his resurrection. Because he makes you a son or a daughter of God, of the King, right? He takes you from wherever you were and puts you into the royal family. You are now a king. You are a prince or a princess. So as you're sharing the gospel, you're sharing the same gospel that Christ died, he was buried, he rose again for you, but you're sharing a different aspect of what Christ has done. Because even in guilt and innocence, we say we are prince and princesses. He did that for us. We say he took away our fear, right? Our fear of the unknown, our fear of the Spirit. So it's a 3D gospel. It's a full gospel. It's not a different gospel. It's the same message. It's just answering a different aspect of the question, or part of the question. Is that?
And maybe even somehow. Sometimes with that culture, a person, if they decide to break from the family and become a follower of Jesus, they are shaming their family. And so it's a difficult decision, much more so than an individualistic Western guilt innocence culture, where it doesn't just affect you personally, it affects your family. Like John said, if you are stealing something, your whole family is shamed. If you break away from your culture's religion, you are kind of shaming your family. So it's a much more difficult decision, I think, in that context than it would be in our Western context of changing and becoming a follower of Jesus.
Yeah. My Korean friend who had the baby and his mom sees visions. His mom has told him, you cannot be a Christian while I'm alive. But after I die, please convert. Go become a Christian. Because it's a lot better than what I do. But I'm stuck. I can't get out. So after I've died, then convert, you go become a Christian. But until I die, you have to be a Buddhist.
Is it because of her fear then?
Yeah.
Like she doesn't think that I wonder why she doesn't think she would have access to that power in Christ. So like, she doesn't know how powerful he is. It seems like.
She's been stuck in it for a long time. And unfortunately, my Korean's not good enough and she speaks zero English. So I was communicating through him, which he's not really fully a Christian and understanding it yet. So it was difficult. But yeah. Yeah, she feels that if she was to leave, the evil spirits would be so angry that they would just destroy her family.
And they would want to.
Yeah.
They are real, but it doesn't matter because Christ has more power.
Yeah. I never prayed more for getting together with my friends than when I got together with them.
Yeah.
Because every time we got together, they would get into a car accident, she would get stung by a bee, their kid would choke on something. Every single time we went to get together to talk, to share more about Jesus, something terrible would happen to them. And it got to the point, too, where my friend would say, what you're saying must be real, because every time we go to hang out, something terrible happens to me. Like, it's not coincidence. Like, I've gotten hit, more times in the year I've known you than I've ever in my whole life. And I've had more crazy things happen to me since I met you and started talking to you about Jesus. It's like, so it's gotta be right.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you convert to Christian and you're like Muslim or something else, don't you get like shunned or something?
Yes. Yeah. You can get shunned, you can get kicked out of your family, you can have your life threatened. We have a refugee who is part of our ministry in the UK, and he left Iran for the UK, got to the UK, and claimed religious asylum. Said, I'm a Christian. If you send me back to my country, my family will kill me. He wasn't a Christian, he just wanted to live in the UK. So he went to our missionary and said, please teach me how to be a Christian so I can fake it. And if you could baptize me, that'd be super awesome. So our missionary said, yeah, I would love to teach you how to be a Christian and baptize you. So he took him through the whole Bible, taught him the scriptures. He came to Christ, got baptized, and said, now I'm in big trouble. Now if the UK government doesn't grant me asylum, I really will be killed. Because they're going to send me back to my family, and they really will actually kill me. There was another guy from Afghanistan who left Afghanistan and was traveling, trying to get away from the Taliban, became a Christ follower, became a Christian on his way to Turkey, and by the time he got to Turkey and told his family, they said, don't come back, because we'll kill you if you come back. So, yeah, it's real. There is a lot of shame in changing your faith.
You say that like the three worldviews are the fear, shame, and guilt?
Yes.
Okay, what about if somebody, because I know a lot of people that the fear, shame, and guilt, they think of it as they don't think about it, if they made like a mistake or something like that, or if they sin, they think of it as oh, it's their human mistake, it's not, they don't feel guilt, they don't feel fear or shame, they just think of it as a human mistake. I'm more talking about atheism, where I think there is it's science type thing, what if they don't feel anything?
Well, they feel guilt or shame. They just answered that question by saying, I don't feel it. They're not going to answer a question like, okay, so you steal a candy bar from a store, and you say, I don't feel guilty I stole this candy bar because that's an evil corporation that produces these candy bars in an unethical way. So it's not actually bad that I stole it. Well, you're still dealing with your guilt. You're just doing it in a way that you can kind of explain that you don't have guilt because of this reason. So they're still dealing with their guilt or their shame. They're just dealing with it by ignoring the problem or saying it. But
They're justifying themselves
Right.
instead of having Christ justify them.
right. Yeah. They're still working to justify